India is known the world over for its family structure and specifically our belief in family values that Indian culture boasts of. Elderly in the families are the pillars of strength. But this picture that has emerged in a report by Helpage India is very disturbing to say the least. The report has revealed some shocking facts. Crime against the elderly is an all-time high. Not just that, the elderly face abuse even at the hands of the members of their own families. So where are we headed as a society? This and a lot more is what we are going to talk about today. Welcome to Gender Discourse. I'm Lottie Alaric. To carry this discussion forward, I have in the studio some special guests. It is my privilege to welcome Mr. Ajay Chaudhary, who's an additional Commissioner of Police in the Southeast District of Delhi. Sitting to his right is Mr. Satish Kumar, who's the President of Senior Citizens Forum at Faridabad. Sitting to his right is Dr. Manju Mehta, the well-known psychologist from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. And to my left is Dr. Harvinder Singh Bakshi, National Director Advocacy, Helpage India. So I take this opportunity of welcoming all of you to the show. Well, friends, before I start talking to my guests and before I invite you to ask your questions regarding this issue today, let us all take a look at this report.
India has over 90 million elderly persons above the age of 60 years. In today's fast-paced life, even basic needs and rights of many of the senior citizens are not addressed. Social marginalization, loneliness, isolation, and even negligence in old age lead to violation of their human rights. Many of them silently suffer abuse in the hands of either their daughters-in-law or sons, according to a survey report by Helpage India.
सबसे मेन कॉज है आजकल बच्चों के पास पिताजी और दादाजी के साथ ज़्यादा प्रेम नहीं रहता है और प्रेम की कमी है सबसे पहला रीज़न, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर लोग आजकल पैसा के पीछे भागते हैं, इसलिए जब पैसा के पीछे भागते हैं तो प्रेम तो कम होते गया। इसके अलावा दूसरा रीज़न है माइग्रेशन। लोग आजकल नौकरी शहर में या विदेश में नौकरी मिलना शुरू हो गया, इसलिए लोग उसमें जाते हैं और जब बच्चे विदेश जाते हैं या कहीं और शहर में चले जाते हैं फिर उनकी जो पिताजी और माताजी अकेला हो जाते हैं।
The violation of human rights of older persons is higher in urban areas of the country in comparison to rural areas, being 85%, the study reveals. The situation is critical in rural areas, as only 4.81% senior citizens said that they have heard about human rights. The situation is slightly better in urban areas where 28.04% older persons expressed knowledge about human rights. Discrimination due to old age is one of the most common problems faced by the senior citizens, says the study, as 47.4% said they have experienced it. 52.35% in urban areas and 44.1% in rural areas accepted that due to their age, they were humiliated occasionally or treated disrespectfully.
When the children grow, they live their own lives, right? They have their own family, they have their own work, their own commitments, right? If they want to go forward, they try and do things in their own way, right? They don't have, what the parents, old people, they should not expect that the children will come back.
The study has found that about 41% felt that there has been an increase in the rate of crime against the elderly in the past 3 years. More than half of India's senior citizens surveyed feel that they are soft targets for crime. This showed that they are silently suffering abuse. These revelations have come as a shock in a country that is known worldwide as family-centric society. It's time that we woke up to reality and started honoring our elderly with the respect and love that they deserve.
Well, the report has definitely come as a dampener for a society that is known the world over as family-centric society. I think that's very rightly said over there. So let me start with you, Mr. Ajay Chaudhary, as to what do these figures really mean to you, these kind of high numbers when we see. How do you react to those kind of figures?
In fact, I would like to congratulate first of all the Lok Sabha channel for raising this very relevant issue today. And as far as the data is concerned, I would not like to contradict, but definitely there is problem. Elderly people are suffering lots of problems. Sense of insecurity is prevalent amongst them. They are not getting the kind of care they deserve or the attention they need. But I do not see a very disappointing situation altogether. There are people who are living very happy, healthy lives as well. But as far as the issue of social neglect and care is concerned, I do think that there is a great need that we should emphasize upon this. We should educate our children, we should spread awareness, we should educate the elderly people that what are their rights, what the government is doing and what the government agencies can do for them.
Right. I do agree with you that a large number of people are not really abused by their children or their grandchildren. But even if the number is pretty small, I think it is the saddest thing that can happen in a country, right? So, Mr. Kumar, what was your reaction when you saw this report and we saw those kind of figures emerging?
First of all, I must congratulate the
Lok Sabha
channel as well as Helpage India also brought out this report. It's a very informative report. I must congratulate them. I attended their release function also,
right,
where I heard that Joint Commissioner also, he gave all these figures. Now, as a president of the forum in Faridabad, that is in Haryana, I interact with our members in regard to their various problems, welfare problems, particularly in regard to the safety of their homes and their families. Now, in Haryana, I would say that the position is not that bad, but still it needs improvement, you know.
Right.
Particularly if you see the security position, role of police, I would say. I was just talking to Mr. Chaudhary also. The government of NCT of Delhi, say Commissioner of Police has issued certain very good instructions to the Delhi Police to have a look at the safety position of the senior citizens. They should be monitoring everywhere. But unfortunately, I can't say about Haryana, but I can tell about Faridabad as such, that no such things exist. A few years back, in our sector, we invited Mr. Alok Mittal, who was the SSP there at that time, a very young IPS officer. And he did a very good job. He set up a monitoring committee in Faridabad to look after the welfare of the senior citizens, particularly women in rural areas and urban areas also. But after he left, you know, the problem as such is there is nobody bothered, and the monitoring cell is absolutely in very bad condition. It is being monitored by a very junior person who may not be knowing even the meaning of monitoring.
Right. So, Mr. Kumar, we'll definitely come to that as well in the later part of the discussion. But before that, let me come to you, Dr. Mehta. Now, over the years, I'm sure you've been dealing with cases like these. So, in your own personal experience, what have you found? Have you found the numbers going up, or have you found that all these figures that have come in, they are not all that scary? What is your experience?
My experience is that these days we do see, because longevity has increased, so old age number of people with old age have also increased, and especially in Delhi, many of them, their children are either abroad or nuclear families, and they have to live separately. Some of them, due to their personality, are very independent, and with their they know how to be independently spending their time and enjoying with their own group of people, their own peer group. But there are others who are dependent type, either financially or emotionally, and who have to live with them. Their problems are there, and sometimes people do have, like we see more number of cases coming with depression because they are not able to cope up with that loneliness and things which are happening. And it is to do also with both sides. Sometimes parents are nagging and they are having lots of expectations. At other times children have their own very busy schedule and they want their own space, and their thinking process has changed. They don't want any interference or suggestions. They want to do things on their own. So it becomes a situation of clash and bickering, and which causes more of depression and things. So the situation, I would say that it is with upper middle class things are still better. With middle and lower socioeconomic status, the things are not all that good.
Right. Well, my obvious question to you, Dr. Bakshi, is this: that what prompted Helpage India to to go for a survey like this and to come up with a report which has revealed the figures that we just got to see?
You see, Helpage India is working for the elderly and with the elderly throughout the country. So we focus the attention of the society on various issues concerning the elderly. So elder abuse is one of the issues. So that's why we conducted this study. In fact, we from time to time we conduct various studies showing the condition of the elderly in the country.
Right. So when you did this study and when these figures came up, how did Helpage India feel about those figures?
You see, Helpage India, since our focus is on the elderly and elderly among the elderly on the poor stratum of the society, so we have to take measures, and we are taking measures which are within our capacity as an NGO. But I would like to say that as far as the policies and the legislation are concerned, they are existing, but it's only a matter of implementation.
Right.
There is a national policy on older people which was announced in '99. Only 7 states, they have formulated their state policies modeled on the national policy. And now with Helpage India's efforts, a new policy has been suggested to the government. It is called Senior Citizens, the policy on National Policy on Senior Citizens 2011, which has been submitted on 28th March to the government. And the initiative for this was taken by the Mr. Bhupal Vasnik, who constituted a committee, and including Helpage India's President Emeritus, Mr. M.M. Sabrawal, and this was a time-bound program. So within the specified time frame, this committee submitted the report. We hope that this policy will be announced, because the changes were required because of the span of time between 1999 and 2011. So a lot of changes have happened, and so that in cognizance of that, there was need for the change in the policy. That policy we have submitted, and what I would like to emphasize is that the implementation of the policies and the legislation, that should be emphatic, and that should be
we will come to
fast.
that in a little while from now, because right now we have to step into a very short break here in Gender Discourse, but people do come back quickly, as that will be your time to ask your questions. We'll be back in just a moment.